Afternoon, Fulham fans, to a instant response to the match between Manchester United and Fulham at Old Trafford, where Fulham lost 3-2. Now, having started off looking at that first half and getting more and more sort of depressed about what seemed an inevitable win, I'm just so pleased that we managed to claw back 2 goals. And yeah, the sucker punch at the end, that's a pretty Fulham thing to do. But that's how it goes. And I thought that in the first half, we didn't play particularly well. We were doing the passing around the back. There was no kind of real incisive forward passing. There was no kind of aggression. There was no speed and attack. And I thought that perhaps we didn't really have a plan. I don't know whether we were depending on sort of some worldies to occur, like we've been bailed out by worldies from Wilson, for example. And we didn't really seem to have a plan. And I thought that that our midfield there were gaping holes in our midfield, it felt. Iwobi didn't look match fit. I thought Robinson certainly didn't look match fit. And I felt that perhaps he needed to come off far earlier than he did. Also, we had a brief reprieve where Cuenca was deemed to foul Cunha. Then it was shown quite clearly that he got the ball. But then they felt that his slight tug of the shirt outside the area was a foul. And, it kind of felt a little bit like a consolation free kick for Manchester United. And also, as the commentator said, well, Fulham thought that they had a reprieve, but still they conceded anyway. And yes, we did concede with a very, very simple header by Casemiro, who, again, though slow, is world class. Again, Cuenca perhaps should have done better, maybe. You might feel that he should have done better with that. And then, obviously, to top it all, Silva gets given a yellow card. Also, again, it felt like after about the 22nd minute, Man United began turning the screw. They felt like they began to kind of purr, and you really saw like the quality of the players. It's a shame that Fernandes has again to do the sort of falling on the floor and moaning, because he really doesn't need to do that, because he's such an absolutely brilliant player, and he obviously, managed to beat Bassi at the end and got the winner, got that assist and the winner for Manchester United. Also, I felt that Rao wasn't getting any service at all. And again, Iwobi just seemed not at it. He lost a couple of passes. And half-time came and we actually had a little bit more possession than Manchester United. And our XG, 0.55 to Manchester United's 0.6. We had 2 shots on target to their 3. So we also had, by the end of the first half, we'd won 81 tackles compared to 36 of Manchester United, because, we had a lot of work to do, I think. And what also is interesting, in the first half, Manchester United had 24 total long balls to our 15. Anyway, after the second half, there seemed to be a little bit more bite to us. I think that we were trying to perhaps press them a little more. And we were starting to play a little bit better. I thought also, unfortunately, Wilson was cutting a slight frustrated figure. And Robinson was increasingly looking off the pace. And I don't understand why Sessegnon wasn't brought on earlier. I presume, because he's obviously coming back from injury as well. Then Cunha scores a great goal. But I did feel that, we didn't clear it. And Fulham just seemed to melt away. And Cunha scores a really great strike. Really fantastic strike. But we still needed that more dynamism. And Cuenca in the 65th minute scores, but after, was it about 4 or 5 minutes, they finally decided that Chukwueze was offside, which again was a sucker punch, because obviously you do all of the celebration and then it's counted off. But I presume it's either right or wrong with offside, and so that was ruled out. Then finally, in the 70th minute, you've got Cesc coming on for Robinson and Kevin coming on for Smith Rowe. Now, when Kevin came on, he really didn't seem that he could manage with this game. I mean, the ball was taken off him quite a few times. And also, he just looked like he wasn't at it. Sessegnon, I felt, was an improvement. He did try far more forward pass, sort of like forward runs. And I think Ahmed had a little bit more, to deal with Sessegnon. So also then Kenny came on for Chukwueze, and absolute respect to Chukwueze for having a go in this match. What an amazing player that guy is. And also, in the 81st minute, you've got this lovely cross by Anderson, and Raul chested it down, but it came off, it went too far ahead of him. But that was a lovely cross by Anderson, which I felt, was that the system? Was that what we were planning for getting goal in this match? Now, in the 82nd minute, we were awarded a penalty. I felt that it was pretty stonewall. I thought Maguire is absolutely sensational when he's facing the opposition goal. I think he's an amazing defender, but when he's running and trying to, tackle, he's obviously he fell short, and he did there, and he did clatter him down, and it was, to my mind, a penalty. Now we were all sitting there thinking, right, he's just going to miss this, because Raul, as usual, had been busting a gut throughout the whole of this match, and he just looked absolutely knackered. And when you just got a feeling, oh, it's against Manchester United, there's no way that we'll score this, and what a penalty! Absolutely brilliant penalty. He literally scooped it in the top left-hand corner. And to also be aware that Lamens, who I think is an absolutely brilliant goalkeeper, he's got that same calm demeanour that Alisson has, and he went the right way. And I'm hoping that he actually congratulated Raul. And that's what I felt. He just seems like such a brilliant goalkeeper. He doesn't need to prove anything. And Man United, God, what a find he was. Anyway, 2-1, and I was just pleased that we managed to score. Yeah, it was from a set piece, but I just felt Raul really deserved that for all the hard work that he puts in every single match. And the fact is, he is really our only striker. So that was absolutely wonderful. Then we've got Kevin doing something that we really didn't expect him to do. He actually managed to link up with Sess and did an absolute scorcher of a goal. And that was amazing, because now it was 2-2. And we thought, right, okay, like my father would say, now we just got to hang on for the next kind of, I think it was about 6 minutes, because they added on 9 minutes extra time. But then, of course, it wasn't to be. The 93rd minute, Fernandez sort of bypassed Bassi, and Anderson didn't get back properly to Mark Sesko, who scored, which again was really awful. The fairy tale had to end sometime. We can't just expect to continue to put our players to score worldies when I feel that there's no real plan to break down teams other than that at the moment. And again, it's obvious that we do need shoring up in midfield, and certainly we need someone that could drive forward in the midfield, or try and ensure that Berger is given that, that leeway to do that, because at the moment he's still, even though I've made him player of the match, he's still quite tentative. So you could argue that we threw away a possible draw. Maybe we did, Fulham fans, but I think again, we didn't give up. We kept going, and we were away at Manchester United. When you look at their squad, it's absolutely nuts. I mean, compared with us, it's absolutely unbelievable, the quality of player that they have. They're on a high, and I don't feel too devastated, although I did when Sesko scored that goal at the end. So could you please make sure that you join us when we do the full analysis of the match? Well done to all those Fulham fans that actually went all the way to Manchester United. At least you saw 2 goals. You saw a fantastic penalty by Raul. You saw a wonder goal from Kevin. It's just a shame that we couldn't just sort of shore up in that sort of, the extra time at the end. Anyway, we go again, and please join us when we do the full review of this match on Monday.